Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, nectar of instruction. We are on the second shloka. Okay. Let me try to share this. Hare Krishna. So, someone can read shloka 1 and shloka 2. You have to memorize these shlokas.
May read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
Text 2.
Yes.
Pratyahara prayasascha jalpanyamagraha jnana sangascha laulyamcha shadvir bhaktir vinasyati.
Okay, one more person can read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, shall I read?
Yeah.
Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagrahah janasangascha laulyamcha shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to read? Any other devotee wants to read? These shlokas are for memorization, so good. The more the number of times we repeat, the better. Who will recite the first shloka? Shloka 1.
Krishna Prabhuji, can I try?
Yeah.
Vako vegam manas. Vacho vegam manas. Vako vegam manas. Krodha vegam. Jiva vegam. Udar pasta vegam. Itah vegam yo vishtate. Visaheta dhira. Itah vegam yo Visaheta dhira. Vishaheta dhira.
You see that dot below the yes, so you have to read sha. Visha.
Vishaheta dhiram sarvam apimam pravittvimsa shishyata. Can I repeat, Prabhuji?
Yeah. I can see that some of you may have difficulty in reading this shloka. See, it's all phonetic markings are done, so you cannot directly read it as English words. You see, VA, the hyphenated, no, above the A there is a hyphen. That means it's long. Va, so va, and C is pronounced as cha. Actually, C is pronounced as cha. So vacho vegam. Vacho means, if you see the word for word, it is vachaha. That vachaha, in running, it will become vacho. We don't say ha so many times. In Sanskrit, if you read the line, all the ha coming in between, it will take a different shape depending on what comes after that. Depending on what comes after that, it will change its sound. So, vachaha vegam becomes vacho vegam. Vacho vegam. Similarly, manasa krodha vegam. Manasaha, we don't say. Manasa krodha vegam. Oh, is, hidden there. Manasa krodha vegam. So again, you see, krodha, DH is krodha vegam. Vegam. Vegam means urge. Every time you see vegam, it is urge. There's a force. Vacho vegam, the force of speech. I want to speak. I want to speak. You four people are there together. Everybody wants to speak only simultaneously. Nobody wants to listen. Even though we have 2 ears to listen more, one mouth to speak less. But we all want to speak at the same time. Our tendency is to express ourselves. It's vacho vegam. And Prabhupada says, this urge to speak about Krishna is good. If you want to speak about Krishna, that's not called vegam. If you want to distribute Krishna consciousness to others, that's not vacho vegam. But if you want to discuss all kinds of material things, that is when vacho vegam comes. Then you are inviting death. Prabhupada is comparing to a toad. How the frog is inviting the snake by making croaking sounds. Same way when we speak material things, which is not Krishna conscious, then we are like a toad. We want to go on croaking until death will come and catch us. So that's a urge. And manasaha, krodha, these are two things. Manasaha, krodha vegam. That means manaso vedam, krodho vegam. Manaso vegam, krodho vegam. It's combined as manasaha, krodha vegam. The urge of the mind, thoughts, the power of thoughts, urge of thoughts. And krodha, anger, vegam. So here 3 things are covered in the first one. Again, jihva vegam. Jihva vegam. The urge of the tongue means what? Desire to eat palatable food. Different kinds of taste. We say multi-continental cuisine. Italian, German. And we say, what is this? Now we see Burma everywhere. Burmese food. And so much Chinese food. People want to eat everything alive and dead. That is the urge to eat so many things. That is jihva vegam. The tongue is constantly demanding. Then udara upastha vegam becomes udaropastha vegam. If you see word for word, you will see udara upastha separated. Combined, it becomes udaropastha. So udara means stomach, belly, demanding food, and upastha means the sexual organ. So udaropastha, you can see jihva, udara, upastha, they are in a straight line. So Prabhupada says, if you can control the tongue, then other urges can also be automatically controlled. The desire to eat palatable foods is a very basic urge in man, in living entities. So that was the first slogan. And what happens to him? Etan vegam yo vishaheta dhira. So in all these vegas, yo vishaheta dhira. Vishaheta means tolerate. Vishaheta dhira. Dhira means sober personality. Sarvamapi mam prithivim cha shishya. He can make devotees, disciples anywhere in the whole world. Prithvi means the whole world. He can make disciples anywhere. So that is the meaning of this. So can anybody read again? Next one. Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jihva vega udaro pasta vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta diraha sarvam apimam prithvim sa shishyat.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithvim sa shishyat. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Who else would like to do? You should try to memorize this. It's become very easy to memorize.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithvim sa shishyat.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Now second shloka, who would like to repeat?
May Prabhu,
Yeah, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Right.
Ati agara prayasa, prajalpa niyama agraha, janasanga lolyam.
Cha,
So, I don't have that sloga, Prabhu.
You don't have?
I don't have that sloga.
Okay.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 also I don't have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm reading from the scene.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Laulyam cha. Laulyam cha. Shadbir. Yes.
Laulyam cha,
Shadbir.
Sarvir,
Bhaktir.
Bhakti.
Vinashyati. Vinashyati.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Wonderful.
Hello. So please practice this. And slowly you will develop expertise in Sanskrit also. And these are all very powerful shlokas. As we said, such a small book. The entire Upadesha Amritam is such a small book. This is the mercy of Acharyas. They made it so simple, so small. Upadesha Amritam must be such a huge book. But how small he has made it. With only 11 shlokas. We can completely memorize it and practice it. Our life becomes perfect. Yeah. So atyaharaha prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha. Actually, niyamagraha becomes two meanings. Niyama agraha, niyama agraha. Like that, it can be split into two ways and it will give two different meanings. So niyamagraha, jana sangascha, laulyamcha, shadbir. Shadbir means 6 things. Bhaktir vinashyati will destroy. So there are 6 things here. Ati aharaha, eating too much or collecting too much. Prayasascha, prayasha means overindulgence. Prajalpaha, that has become prajalpo, it is actually prajalpaha. So that is what? Idle talk, material, mundane talk. Niyamagraha means forgetting Krishna and simply following the rules, or neglecting the rules that will take you to Krishna. Either you become so much obsessed with the rules, forgetting the goal, for what purpose these rules are given. You become so much attached to the rules only, forgetting the goal. Like that, there are so many people today, they want to do yajna, they want to do mantra chanting, they want to do vrata, they want to do fasting, so many things. But they have forgotten the real goal of all this. Or people are simply neglecting the rules which are given in the Shastras that will develop you in the spiritual path. So niyama agraha and niyama agraha both are condemned. Jana sangaha, that means jana sangha means materialistic people, association of materialistic people. Laulyam means excessive greed. These 6 things will destroy. Okay. Now, where did we leave last time? We'll pick up from that.
Prabhuji, we have to start from the main problem confronting.
Which page is that?
Page 19, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Please start.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
The main problem confronting the conditioned souls is the repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death. In the material world, one has to work for the maintenance of the body and soul. But how can one perform such work in a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires possessions such as food grains, clothing, money, and other things necessary for the maintenance of the body. But one should not collect more than necessary for his actual basic needs. If this natural principle is followed, there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body. According to nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of necessities. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away the whole bag. He will eat all his stomach can hold and then try to keep the rest in storage. According to scriptures, this collecting of more than necessary, atyahara, is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it.
Thank you, Madhu.
Correct.
So let us,
Hare
yes,
Krishna.
let us, Hare Krishna. So, would anybody like to comment on what you have read just now?
It's true, Prabhuji. We are worse than animals. Humans are worse than animals.
Even though we have been given a higher intelligence, which animals don't have, but we are deploying that intelligence only for eating, sleeping, mating, defending, which is the function of animals only. And animals are doing it satisfactorily, without over-endeavoring, without overeating, over-collecting. So they live happily and they don't face economic problems also. But man has been given a higher intelligence for a higher purpose. By misusing that intelligence, he has created a more difficult situation for himself. Actually, God intended that man should live comfortably. By living a communal life, we live as a community. So we support each other. We live as a family. We live as a community. We do agriculture. From agriculture, we are getting the food we need. And by working together, we can fulfill the needs of everyone. So, but despite that, by over-collecting for ourselves, we have created an incompatible situation in the world of scarcity. Scarcity was never intended by the Lord. There is plenty for all of us. But because of man's tendency to hoard for the future, out of fear, there is scarcity. From where the fear came, from where this mentality of scarcity came, how it came,
Greediness, Prabhuji.
from where this greediness came,
Desire to accumulate more and more.
why?
Selfish
We are
attitude.
not satisfied. Why we are
Well,
not?
they want to enjoy the sense gratification.
Why
They
we
want
want
to
to
enjoy
enjoy
more and
something?
more.
Why?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, maybe laziness that next day we will not work so that we can accumulate because
Why
of
did
laziness.
laziness has come?
We are forgetting Ishavasyam idam
Not
sarvam.
to serve Krishna, Prabhuji, just.
So we have to speak all answers from scriptures. We should not speak whatever comes to our mind. Then it will be called Jihva Vegam. Whatever comes to my mind, if I speak, that is called Jihva Vegam. When you stick to only scriptures, what I have learned from scriptures, what I have learned from Bhagavad Gita, what I have learned from Bhagavatam, what I have heard in the scriptures, what the Acharya spoke, then that is called Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, watch away. So we have to speak from the scriptures. So one Mataji said, it is forgetting Ishavashyam principle. What is Ishavashyam principle?
Prabhuji. We have to take only what is allocated to us.
And then do what? You take only what is allocated to you, then you what? And do what? When you accept what is given as your quota, then you suddenly become contented. And there's so much time on your hands, you notice suddenly, I have so much time. Because you have accepted a simple living. What is given by God to me? Somebody, God gave 10 crores. For somebody, God gave 10 lakhs. For somebody, God gave 10,000. But whatever it is, if they decide, this is my quota, what God has given, I am happy, I will live with it. Then suddenly he finds so much time is free. By adopting simple living, then what he will do? What the scriptures guide him to do? See how this translation starts, what Prabhupada starts. Text 2, Prabhupada's purports, what is the first line?
Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking.
So when you adopt a plain living or simple living, then high thinking should follow. Not that, as Saurabh Prabhu was saying, plain living oh, I have no, I'm lazy now. I can simply relax. I don't do anything. Not like that. Then you have to go for high thinking. That is the purpose. God gave us this higher intelligence for human beings only, so that human beings can live a comfortable life without much endeavor. As a community, we can live peacefully, happily, contentedly. Then the rest of the time is meant for a very urgent task, for a higher purpose. And that is God consciousness. So these are two things must be always connected. Not that I live a simple life so that I can sleep half the day or 3/4 of the day. No work. I have accepted a simple life. Such a person is not great. Such a person is in tamogun. What impels you for simple living should be the aim of achieving something higher. Higher taste. That should be the purpose of this. So we have to understand from here that the aim is ultimately to have more time on the hands. So all the time we need, every second is precious for us to progress towards Krishna consciousness. So that's why Prabhupada said the difference between Mahatma and Duratma in the purport. So Mahatma is broad-minded person. He is in the shelter of Lord's internal energy, Antaranga Shakti. He is always engaged in the service of the Lord. But the crippled-minded person, like all of us, we are interested in enjoying sense gratification. We don't want to give it up until we die. We don't want to give up our sense gratification. Or not only we want sense gratification, we want to expand it to others in the name of altruism. We want the whole humanity. Nobody should starve. Everybody should have enough to eat. Everybody should have clothes to wear. Everyone should have a roof over their head. Everybody should have some entertainment. Like that, you start working for others. My same bodily consciousness, I expand it to others in the name of altruism or humanism, etc. Prabhupada says, no, that's not the aim of human life. Aim of human life is to recognize that I am a spirit soul. And then to understand from where the spirit soul has come, what is the connection between the super soul and this soul, and then to engage in that activity which will satisfy the spirit soul. You have to go beyond body consciousness to soul consciousness. Then engage in the activities of the soul, not the activities of the body. So this is the point that we have to understand. So here we have talked about atyahara, that the animals don't do, only human beings have a tendency to do by misusing the intelligence that is given to us. Okay. Next thing, can you read? Human life. Please continue reading.
Yes, Prabhuji, shall I?
Yeah.
Collecting and eating more than necessary also causes prayasa or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land and a milk cow. There is no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood, for one can produce food grains locally and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness or the understanding of God, one's relationship with Him, and the ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilizes his intelligence to get more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for human beings all over the world. But instead of using his higher intelligence to cultivate God consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuse their intelligence to produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops are opened. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessarily to possess artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to a primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is their unfortunate position. Human life is meant for.
Yeah, we'll break here.
Yes.
It's actually prayasa. We have already seen what is atyahara. No prayasa. Atyahara means overeating, over collecting. And what is prayasa? Over endeavoring to get these things. Either over endeavoring to collect money or over endeavoring for sense gratification. You collect money for sense gratification, or you are over endeavoring directly for sense gratification. Either case, it is over endeavor. What comes to you of its natural accord, that you can accept. That is Ishavasyan principle. What the Lord has given as your quota, that means that which comes to you without over endeavoring, that is your quota. That you are allowed to enjoy. And you have to dedicate the rest of your time to God consciousness. So here, anything over endeavor, anything extra is called prayas. So here, Prabhupada says, just a little land and a milk cow is sufficient for anyone in the whole world to maintain himself for a simple life. But please understand, the more important point here is not that everybody should buy a piece of land and a cow and retire to the village. That's not what is meant. What Prabhupada is telling, for you to get a comparison, how simple it is to maintain our life, provided we don't have an ego to support. We have a big ego to show to others. Oh, what will others think of me? I want to show something that I am also worth something. I have made some money. I have made a nice bungalow and a car. People should respect me. All these artificial amenities, Prabhupada says, we want to create and we want to live in this world. That is why this prayasa happens. Over endeavor happens. So Prabhupada gives you the contrast. You can live anywhere in the world, in a corner, with a small piece of land and a cow, and be satisfied with that. And dedicate your time for Krishna consciousness. This is by God's arrangement, that man can live anywhere. And then he has to use his higher intelligence for God consciousness. But we are using our higher intelligence for what? Prayasa. For Atyahara and Prayasa, we are using our higher intelligence. That's it. And what happens then? Then we misuse our intelligence. Factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, liquor shop, all these things. And people say, hey, live a simple life. They say, what do you mean? You want me to go back to the 19th century or 18th century? All these facilities are there for me to enjoy. And you are a regressive person. You want me to go back to a primitive way of life? Like the people lived in the forest, you want me to live like that? Can I hear some reactions from you? How do you feel about these Prabhupada's comments? Do you agree or do you find it somehow something is pinching inside? How is it possible? All these impractical things. Please share your thoughts.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hello,
Yes, Prabhuji, I feel the present scenario, you feel what Prabhupada says is apt, because we are getting more and getting entangled into the material this thing. It is not that primitive life or whatever it is, but we'll get more in contact with Krishna and more involved in spiritual life. So at the present scenario, as per my experience at the present stage, I'm not able to attend some of the classes. So I feel so guilty that I'm being entangled and pulled down. So if that would have been the stage, what you're saying, as Prabhupada was saying, that would have been a better place where we would have come closer to Krishna. More, more of spiritual life and in the transcendental the level we would have come. But at the present moment, it is you suddenly feel that you're elevated and then you're pulled down deep into the dungeon. So that really, what to say, it tears off your inner this thing conscious, that where am I going, what am I doing, why am I here? That type of a thought comes.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna,
right.
that is my view.
Thank you, Mataji. So when we are so much busy, as you said, there is no time to reflect. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What should I do now? These questions don't arise, because only when you rise high, you can take a bird's eye view of what is happening below. There was a time when Srila Prabhupada and one of his disciples, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, they were having an argument. And Prabhupada, first, what he told him? The sky is unlimited, spiritual sky. In a corner of the spiritual sky, there is a small material sky. Within that material sky, which is unlimited, within that there are so many celestial objects. Within that there is one sun. And around the sun, so many small planets are rotating. And among them, there is one small planet, dust-like planet called Earth. And within that Earth is called the one continent called North America. Within that North America, there is one country called USA. Like that, speaking. Then Prabhupada came. There is one New York temple of ISKCON. And within that temple, there is one Tamala Krishna. And who thinks he is so great? Prabhupada simply gave a different perspective. Oftentimes, we develop a sense of greatness within, helplessly, and then we suffer. So, just to get a perspective. So, the perspective is needed. Then we will be ready to accept simple living. But I sincerely request all of you devotees to go through these few paragraphs to somehow try and convince yourself what is being conveyed to us. Very, very important. Many of us may even think now, how can I live without this thing? How can I live without that thing? We are not asking you to live without those things. So please clarify your thoughts. Please clarify your thoughts. The focus here is high thinking. As Lakshmi Venkat Mataji very correctly put it, the focus is lost. Then I am so preoccupied with material so-called needs. Then I have no time for spiritual thinking. Only when you have spiritual thinking, you will come to this position where, who am I? Who is God? What is my connection? Why am I suffering? What should I do now? These thoughts come only when you fly higher. You take a position high up and you take a bird's eye view and you see that I am insignificant. My worries are insignificant. And that is when you can take up the God consciousness. So please, I request you to meditate on these few thoughts and try to understand what Prabhupada is trying to convey. The focus of Prabhupada is not that we should take up a primitive way of life. But Prabhupada is very clearly indicating there should be no over-endeavoring on earth. Somebody born to a billionaire, Prabhupada is not saying throw away your billions. Prabhupada is not saying that. Ishavashyam here. So Krishna has given you a bigger quota. So what you are going to do with it? What you are going to do with it? How you are going to live? So the focus should be how I am going to live. Am I going to spend 80% of our time on over-endeavoring? And then 20% of the time will automatically be taken away. I will not have that. I will not have that higher perspective of life. It will go. So that is a point we have to take. Yes, please. Next paragraphs.
Prabhuji, may I read? May I read?
Yes.
Human life is meant for God realization, and the human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that this higher intelligence is meant to attain a higher state should follow the instructions of the Vedic literatures. By taking such instructions from higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life. Could I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.9, Sri Suta Goswami describes the proper human dharma in this way. Dharmasya he apavargasya nartho arthoyo upakalpate natasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhya is pratah. All occupational engagements, dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational services, dharma should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the spiritual injunctions. The higher intelligence of a human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than animal society. As stated, okay, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. As stated above, dharmasya he apavargasya nartho arthayo pakalpate. Religion is meant to attain emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement. That is far from the purpose of the true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God, because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atyahara, or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for Krishna supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, would anyone like to talk about what we have read just now? So, Prabhupada has brought us to the point of higher intelligence. What should the higher intelligence be used for? When you are using it for lower purpose, higher thinking will never arise in your mind. When you are simply trying to accumulate some comforts in this world, some wealth, some respect, some good name and fame, then the higher intelligence is not available for higher purpose of self-inquiry. So that's why it is said here, Sutta Goswami's that verse, what it says, whatever dharma you do, dharma is duties, whatever duties we perform, that is for what purpose? For attaining ultimate liberation. No other purpose. Whatever work you do, you should see how it is connected to my ultimate liberation. We are not supposed to engage in any other activity. Whatever activity you do, you should have in your mind, this must lead me to ultimate liberation and not for any material gain. So we don't work or we don't perform duty for material gain. How interesting. Huh? How interesting that we don't work for material gain. Then what for I am working? This is a clear understanding. We are working for ultimate liberation. We are performing our duty. Duty means discharging my obligations. How can I demand a remuneration? It is an obligation I am executing. That's all. And what is this remuneration? See, he says, we are not working for material gain, but you will get some material gain out of that. That should not be used for sense gratification. So two things are told. When you work, your aim should not be material gain. Number one. When you work or you are performing your duty, the aim should not be material gain. That means what? Discharging duty perfectly. Repaying a debt, that's what discharging a duty. So you should do it perfectly without expectation of any result, material result. Next thing, but on its own accord, some material gain will accrue because of your past karma. It will accrue. What should you do with it? Clearly it says, not for sense gratification. Whatever material gain you get, that is not meant for sense gratification. Then what is it meant to be used for? For your bare maintenance and for higher purpose. So this is how it is. We should perform our duty not for material gain. And whatever material gain we get, we should not use for material sense gratification. So the whole life, the purpose should be liberation. So that is a message what is being given. So
Prabhuji, a small query, Prabhuji, that all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation.
Yes.
Prabhuji, as we are doing our duties, how can it liberate us? If we do our duty and we are, what to say, moving away from the spiritual activity, though we are thinking about Krishna, but how can we get liberation, Prabhuji? What type of liberation will it be?
That is
Can
why
you throw some light?
The intention of Sutta Goswami in saying this is all occupational duty should be done with the mentality of Nishkamya Karma.
Okay.
It's not Kamya Karma he's referring to. Very clearly. He says the aim should be liberation. That means it should be done with the mentality of Nishkamya.
With a detachment, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Without attachment.
Detachment. Yeah, you. Yes.
Then it will lead you to liberation. Then it will lead you to true wisdom, jnana. Nishkamya karma leads to true wisdom, jnana. Not kamya karma. Kamya karma is not mentioned. Kamya karma means it will lead to punya only.
Okay.
And punya will give you maximum an existence in the heavenly planets or some good enjoyment in material world. But here he says, don't work in that mood. Is it not? That's what Sutta Goswami says. No. Perform your work to get ultimate liberation. That means when you work also, your aim is not sense gratification or some wealth. Your aim is liberation. So please remember that when you work, you are working for liberation only. Not for any inferior goal than that. Nothing more Nothing less than that. Your aim should be only liberation. And then he says, but in the process of working, you get some material gain. What to do with it? Don't use it. So clearly he's firewalling you on all sides. He's not giving any room for sense gratification. Neither you should search for sense gratification, nor if it comes voluntarily, you should accept it. Your focus should remain on liberation. That's the point. So is it clear? No one has
Yes, Prabhuji, that bonding among our family members or something you're doing and still you're not attached to it, then does it lead to liberation? That is, whether it is your kids or whatever it is, or your elders, whatever you're doing, all your duties. But is it? I mean, you don't have any attachment as a duty. You're doing everything. So
but
is
that
it right?
Way, duty will be never ending. That kind of
very true.
of
Till the last breath, you need to do your duties. You have your own set of goal. But your set of goal is Krishna consciousness. But these things, will it lead to liberation, Prabhuji?
No. What you are saying is more like, kamya karma.
Okay.
That will not lead to liberation.
Very true.
That will lead to liberation also. So what we have to do, we have to work in Krishna consciousness. We cannot go on expanding our duties. Yeah, our primary duty is to Krishna.
Very true. But Prabhuji, expectation from the surrounding souls is more. From yours, than from you, they expect more.
That is why we have to always remain in the association of devotees.
Very true.
That is when our perspective will be clear. Otherwise, we will be dragged. Then it will be dragged. Like in second chapter, we saw when the wind is blowing, the boat will be taken forcibly in one direction. So even one sense is enough to pull the mind away from our goal. Yes. Vayor navam ivambasi, Krishna says. Just like the wind will carry the boat helplessly in some direction, like that we will be lost. So that is why we have to accept the spiritual master as the captain of the ship. We have an expert captain of the ship. That is our spiritual master. And the scriptures are the favorable wind. So you have to accept our body as a boat, spiritual master as a captain, and scriptures as our favorable wind. Then we will go to our destination. We create our own duties along the way. Oh, this duty, okay, I finished now, that duty, okay, I finished, then I will go to that duty. Then we are actually becoming attached.
Very true.
We are not becoming detached. So for that purpose only, we have to chant very, very attentively, as much as possible in the association of devotees. And we should be constantly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we should read here. So these devotional practices alone will keep you focused and on the course. Or Ivambasi, the wind will come. Vayor nava, it will just scatter you away. And before you realize, many lifetimes will come. Before we realize, we can be. That is why that is why Prabhupada has given us this devotee association. Such a powerful thing Prabhupada has given. Not only Prabhupada has given us theory, but Prabhupada has given us the entire atmosphere for practicing Krishna consciousness. If we neglect the acharyas, the Vaishnava association, the scriptures, our chanting, then we are lost. Our mind will start thinking in so many different ways to justify whatever we are doing. And we will think, I am on the right path, but we will be afraid of devotees, at some point of time. Oh, devotee will say I am wrong, they will try to correct me, but I must do this, I will try to avoid like that. So in no case, we should avoid devotee association. Particularly when we may confused, we may be confused, maybe I am on the wrong path, something. Then all the more we need devotee association. And that is the time our mind will say, no, give me a break. I will go to devotees later. That is it. Yes, Mataji.
But Prabhuji, it's really a blessing that every time when I'm getting deviated like this, now I was traveling from Bangalore to Hyderabad, you won't believe, in my compartment, in that bogie, Prabhuji from ISKCON, who gives lectures on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, he was there, and throughout, you won't believe, till late night we were just talking, though there was one young couple there, but still he was continuously telling something about we did not have any material talk at all, Prabhuji. It was really, I feel that Krishna is always trying to kick me to that goal that you have to be there only. You cannot get detached. So it is all a blessing, I thought, because in between I was so shattered that I'm being pulled out. But you won't believe then that Prabhuji is doing this service, and he was throughout with Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. He was just talking about that. Though there was a young couple, they were also so attentively listening. I was feeling so great that such a good soul has been sent to me. So even my husband was there. So we were really spellbound, Prabhuji. It was really a blessing. So he doesn't leave me like that. That's it. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Krishna.
Thank you. And continue. Next 1 or 2 paragraphs we'll read. Who will read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. As stated above.
Another impediment.
Another impediment. Okay. Okay.
No.
Another,
Another impediment. Where is it? Page number? Oh, yeah. Okay.
page 23. Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding just like croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless socio-political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. Jana Sangha refers to associating with...
We'll finish Prajalpa.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So Prajalpa is unnecessary mundane talk. We have already covered it in Vacho Vegam in the first chapter, right? First sloka. Whatever we spoke in Vacho Vegam, Prabhupada is giving a hint here that we should not be like frogs, unnecessarily making some nonsensical sounds. When we are talking about Krishna, we are making sense. Otherwise, it's all nonsense. Anything other than Krishna, when we have an urge to speak, that is Prajalpa, that is unnecessary, mundane topics. It is going on everywhere around us. Newspapers, magazines, novels, televisions, right? Internet, everywhere this Prajalpa is going on. So we have to defend ourselves. In Western countries, why Western countries? Eastern countries also. What the old men are doing, they are wasting their time. All these kinds of activities. So that should not happen. Actually, in one Bhagavatam class, I was hearing that one doctor was sharing this. When very old lady was dying, and her whole family, everybody was surrounding her. And this lady had a very severe form of cancer tumor, and it was going to burst any time and she would die. It's just a matter of maybe a few hours or something. So they asked her, what is your last wish? And then she named a movie. And she said, I want to watch this movie. And that movie was actually a horror movie, it seems. It happened in America. And they put the iPad in front of her and they started the movie. And she started watching this horror movie. As she went on watching, the tumor burst and unlimited amount of blood started coming out, and she passed away like that. What a tragic way to end the life. The doctor is a Krishna conscious person, but unfortunately, there was no encouragement or willingness to take this. So this lady had to die. But I'm sure she would have got some sukriti because the doctor would not have spared it. Must have done something without her knowing. But look at the way old people have no goal in their life. Last minute, she wants to watch some horror movie and die. That was she could not think anything higher than that. What a tragedy that human life is wasted away like animal life. So we have to be very, very careful. Even now, when we are having health in our hands, what activities we do. And when we become helpless, our mind will be active. So at least if we have become fully Krishna conscious, we can spend it in smarana. We can remember Krishna at the last moments of life without allowing the mind to wander in so many other thoughts. Yes. So Janasangha, next para.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, sorry for the interruption, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can Agnata Sukruti be acquired with prayers, Prabhuji?
Again, Sukriti by?
If we pray for some
others
others?
pray. If somebody prays for you, that will become Ajnana Sukriti.
Yes,
If a
Prabhuji.
devotee prays, yes. Devotee
Okay,
prays. But if you are consciously praying, that is directly Sukriti. You are directly, Kunti Maharani's prayers, you are chanting the prayers of Bhishma Dev, or if you are chanting the prayers of Gajendra, like this.
For others who are not on this path, Prabhuji, if we pray.
You can pray for them. Yes, absolutely, they will get Sukriti. There are infinite ways in which you can accumulate Sukriti for your near and dear people. Instead of trying to help them directly, make them eat prasadam unknowingly, help them to appreciate Krishna consciousness, like they can appreciate a good picture of Krishna or Krishna and Radharani. They can appreciate nice pictures, nice prasadam, nice decoration, like this. Then they will get Sukriti. If they watch the Rath Yatra and they appreciate devotees doing Nagar Sankirtan, that gives them Sukriti, like that. Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Yes, please read
Hare
this.
Krishna.
Hare.
Jana Sangha refers to associating with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees. Bhakta Sane Vasa. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions as the Stock Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Jana Sangha, association with people, it cuts both ways. If you are in the association of materialistic people who are mostly engaged in sense gratification or money making or talking about demon, etc., so they are called materialistic people. And if you are in the association of such people, you will be also carried away in that direction in mundane topics. So we had to avoid association of such people. And Narottam Das Thakur says, Bhakta Sane Vasa. So he had always live in the association of devotees. So how to avoid association of materialistic people? You have to go into the association of devotees. So that is the way we can avoid. Otherwise, such association will continue to chase you because of past vasanas. Such association will continue to come behind us. So the way is to run away from that and into the association of devotees. So we should always engage in service of the Lord in devotee association. And then Prabhupada talks about chambers of commerce. Why people meet there? They want to develop their own businesses by coming in association with like-minded people. Same way, we should come in the association of like-minded devotees to increase our Krishna consciousness. And the purpose of ISKCON is exactly for this purpose. Along with them, we should try to spread this movement so that more and more opportunity will be there everywhere for people to associate with devotees. And actually today I was attending one Zoom meeting of how online preaching is spreading across the world. People were giving reports. Some very successful preachers were giving reports of how they are doing intercontinental preaching amazingly. Thousands, not thousands, lakhs of people are being touched by Bhakti Vriksha preaching across the globe. There were people from different parts of the world giving their reports. Someone from Russia was talking and saying there are lakhs of devotees in countries like Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, and countries like that. In the Russian, the split countries, so many devotees are there, and they are all becoming so serious. Online preaching, I never thought it can be so effective. At least I am not so effective in my online preaching. I am just talking something. But they are talking about people, how many people are doing 16 rounds? How many people are attending 10 programs per week? They have made it mandatory. One devotee from Baroda was giving a report how they are covering entire Maharashtra and also globally. They are installing deities online in the houses of devotees. That means devotees get the deities. Sometimes they send it from here and they get it. And from here they chant the mantras and everything. And the deities are installed in the house of the devotee. The devotee has never seen a devotee. They have only done online preaching. And I've seen amazing photographs of altars in the house of such devotees. Nobody preached them except online. They're having nice altars. They're making nice offerings. They're offering nice prayers. And from here they are supporting for them, for installation and everything. People are at 16 rounds and they are asking. And they are sending by post bead bags. They are sending tilak. And then people are practicing with that. And when they got the bead bag, within 1 year they are saying, Prabhu, I have chanted 16 rounds for 1 year. Now get me initiation. Amazing report. And we were having a meeting for 4 hours. That was not sufficient. People had so much to tell. They had PowerPoint presentations. Somebody was doing jail preaching somewhere in Maharashtra. And they showed us videos. In the jail, everybody dancing. They are saying murderers are becoming repentant. They are eating prasadam. They are dancing. They are reading books. And the jail officials, along with the prisoners, they are dancing. These are the videos. And in schools, children are taking up. In hospitals, doctors are taking up. So many pictures we could see. And people are eagerly taking. So from online, they are also going offline. Devotees visit. Sometimes 40, 50 devotees come here. Or devotees, the preacher devotees, they are visiting places where some devotees will gather and then they are having classes. And they are going for yatra. So much is happening only from online. Then they realized, oh, ISKCON is really spreading. We don't know. In invisible ways, it is spreading. Very powerful. Yeah. So, okay, I think we will end the session here. And Prabhupada has not talked about laulyam separately. Laulyam means excessive greed. Greed itself is excessive. Excessive greed, excessive desire to enjoy. All this comes from material association. Being greedy for mundane achievements. That's the laulyam. So it's not separately discussed because laulyam is present in all these atyahara, prayasa, prajalpa, niyamagraha, janasangha. Everywhere laulyam is present. So that laulyam, excessive desire to enjoy sense gratification or mundane things is another thing that destroys bhakti. So from here, Prabhupada is going to give from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Anubhashya. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also has written purports for Nectar of Instruction. So from that, Prabhupada is giving. I request you to kindly read it when you come for the next class. We will quickly discuss the contents in 1 or 2 slides, and then we will take up the third shloka. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions, we can take it. Otherwise, we'll end the session. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions or comments? So shall we wind up? Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nectar of Instruction ki jai, Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Hare Krishna. Ajit Prabhu, did you join Bhakti Vriksha, Bhakti Shastri?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Yeah.
father has gone, a guest came, so father had to go upstairs for a while.
Okay. Did he join?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Did he join that Bhakti Shastri course?
No, Prabhuji is about to join today, Prabhuji. He was still a bit scared to join. Not scared, doubtful.
You should encourage him.
I'm telling Prabhuji.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Just to take your blessings, Prabhuji, I also have joined Bhakti.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bhakti course.
My prayers for your success. The very fact that you joined is a success. Now put your best efforts. Krishna will carry you. It is just like a floating. Krishna will carry you all the way. Just we have to express our eagerness, and rest of it will automatically follow. Thank you. And I think our
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nityananda Prabhu also has joined. Has anyone else joined here? Lakshmi Mataji joined? Tribal.
Yes, Prabhuji, she has joined. She has put a message in the group.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
I
All
want
need
to
your blessings.
clarify with you, Prabhuji, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Bahrain, they have given us a set of 5 books, Prabhuji, which we have to do. It is from Radheshyam Das Prabhuji. So every week we read through that and then answer some questions. And it is part of Bhagavad Gita only. So I don't know what to do, Prabhuji, whether if I have to combine Bhakti Shastri also along with this, will I be able to do it together? I do not know.
I think if you are doing Bhakti Shastri, then depending on availability of time, the other thing you may or you may not do. Bhakti
Okay,
Shastri is something that Srila Prabhupada prescribed for all devotees. That was structured by Srila Prabhupada. So if
Okay.
you are doing Bhakti Shastri, and Bhagavad Gita is included in Bhakti Shastri, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction, Ishopanishad, and Bhagavad Gita constitute Bhakti Shastri course. So if that doesn't leave you time for this, you can tell these devotees I am focusing on Bhakti Shastri. Yeah. So
Okay,
between the two, I would request you to prioritize Bhakti Shastri.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and depending on availability of time, you can do the other thing else, because that is also a support for your Bhakti Shastri. You will be reading Bhagavad Gita there also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that way you can organize Bhakti. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
For other devotees also, I request you to just give it a go. Give it a go. It will definitely work. Somehow we have to give an indication to Krishna that I am serious and please help me. We have wandered away from the path so much. We have all wandered away so much. So initially there will be some difficulty, but we had to hand over our rope to Krishna. Allow him to lead us the path. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, those who are doing Bhakti Shastri in other ISKCON Mangalore, is it possible? No, Prabhuji, like to join here also.
No.
Sorry, Mataji, say that again.
Me and Sunita Mataji, we are doing Bhakti Shastri in ISKCON Mangalore, Prabhuji.
Very good. Go ahead.
So
absolutely perfect. Yeah, please do. Don't join Bhakti Shastri in 2 places. Unless you can handle it both.
Already 1 year has passed, Prabhuji, so that is
great. Please go ahead. Wonderful. Glad to know.
Right.
Yeah. So all of you, please keep up your chanting.
We all need your blessings, Prabhuji, because we have come this far. It's only because of you, and we just till we go back to Godhead, we need your prayers and blessings.
My prayers for the success of all of you, and reciprocally, I request you also to pray for me. There are times when I feel I am falling down also. It's not that all of us are guaranteed free entry there. We have to make our efforts. We have to make our investments. I request all of you to kindly pray for me also, and I definitely pray for the success of all of you.
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, Kalikamar Ghosh Prabhuji, we are also purely online disabled. Yes. Yeah, I'm really eager that we should go on doubling our efforts. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for encouraging us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right.
Prabhuji, I am actively participating in a local ISKCON center, and there we are celebrating this Rath Yatra also.
Where, Prabhuji? Calcutta?
No, here I am near Singur, Prabhuji. Singur, where that controversial place where Tata.
Nano.
Yes. Yes, Nano project. We celebrated grand way this Snan Yatra. We did grand way. There were 3,500 devotees associated.
Oh, wonderful.
We distributed prasadam. And I'm so happy, Prabhuji. Yes, all because of you. I'm really grateful. It's a complete turning point that I never knew that my life will get molded this way. So,
happiness is really guaranteed in Krishna consciousness. There is no way you will not get it. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes,
So glad to hear. Hari Om.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.